Very good evening. You're now with me, SEGAMAT, for TVS Nightline. Here are the headlines for tonight. Premier Abang Johari says Sarawak could rival Sweden in 30 years if resources are managed transparently and responsibly. SEGAMAT is once again hit by a minor earthquake tonight, marking the third incident in the area within a few days. In the world news, at least 14 people are killed, including 3 minors, after an attack was launched at Kiev, and the Ukrainian president is quick to state that Russia has no interest in achieving peace. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg says the state could rival Sweden within 30 years. That is, if its resources are governed with integrity and accountability. He pointed to Nordic countries like Sweden, Norway and Finland, where a culture of transparency has built prosperous, globally competitive societies.
Sweden sudah menjadi budaya kerana ombudsman-nya lebih 100 tahun. Hingga budaya orang Sweden otomatik integritinya menjadi part and parcel of their life. So masuk Sweden and their counterpart Finland, Norway, they have the highest standard of accountability.
Speaking at the 2025 Sarawak Integrity Day celebration today, Abang Johari says that Norway, for example, owns the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, a result of transparent financial management and good governance. He notes that in terms of size and population, Sarawak is not far off from countries like Norway and carries vast potential for development.
Norway 5 juta nak penduduknya, kita lebih kurang 3 juta. Area sama dengan kita. Minyak bawa duji pada kita, nya dollar lagi. Kita dollar lagi, nya duji. Tapi kalau dibanding, keadaannya lebih baik daripada kita. Jadi kita Sarawak tu alhamdulillah, Tuhan sayangkan kita. Kita ada gas. Minyak kita maintain tank. Jadi kita uruskan dengan baik sumber kita, minyak, gas, tanah, air, uruskan dengan baik. Our future is bright. Maybe we can beat Sweden in the next 30 years or so.
Meanwhile, 5 municipal councils in Greater Kuching are being urged to embrace seamless development, a strategy to grow beyond borders. Sarawak Premier Abang Johari says the approach is key to people's well-being and to driving a more coordinated state development plan.
Sebab itu hari ini saya nak berkongsi bahawa DBKU, MBKS, Kedawan Municipal Council, Semarahan Council dan yang baru Serian yang kita wujudkan mesti ada seamless development. Walaupunnya di bawah jurisdiction kawasan masing-masing, tetapi ada orang nyebut itu interconnection di antara kelima-lima ini. Sebabnya untuk rancangan masa depan, ART kita mula dari Kuching hingga ke Serian dan melepasi Samarahan jangka panjang. Kita berfasa-fasa.
Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony of the new Pedawan Municipal Council building today, Abang Johari says the plan ties directly to the automated rapid transit connecting Kuching, Samarahan and Serian. Smart city initiatives will also take root through green technology, sustainable mobility and hydrogen-based carbon reduction.
Sebab itu benchmark smart city ataupun bandar pintar ialah bagaimana kita menguruskan bandar itu dari sudut mobility, traffic dan juga perjalanan kereta di kawasan kita masing-masing. Di situ kita main road is Pen Borneo. Siapa sangka batu 7 kereta, okey. Siapa sangka kantor jadi pagi tek saya naga saya kena ada outrider pun jam. Sungguh saya ada outrider. Jam juga. Bermakna melambangkan keadaan hidup kita sudah baik. Keadaan ekonomi kita meningkat.
In other news, the Sarawak Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department seized drugs worth 1.4 million ringgit in a raid on a terrace house in Tabuan Desa Kuching on August 22nd. Sarawak Deputy Police Commissioner Saifulizan Isha says a 22-year-old man was arrested in the late-night operation, suspected of ties to a drug trafficking syndicate.
So jumlah keseluruhan dadah yang dirampas ialah dadah yang disyaki MDMA, methamphetamine seberat 74,300 gram, dadah disyaki ketamin 20.83 gram, dadah disyaki irimin 11.04 gram. So nilai pasaran kesemua dadah di atas dianggarkan berjumlah 1.4 juta. Dan jumlah dadah yang dirampas itu boleh digunakan ataupun boleh dikonsum seramai 247,800 orang pengguna.
During a press conference at the Sarawak Contingent Police Headquarters today, he said that the 22-year-old suspect had been working with the syndicate since early this month, storing and packaging drugs at a rented house for distribution around Kuching. Authorities also said he's unemployed, has no criminal record and tested negative for drug use. The case falls under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act, carrying a possible death sentence or life in prison and no fewer than 12 strokes of the cane. The suspect is under a 7-day remand as police track down other members of the ring. Saifulizan warns no compromise for drug traffickers and urges the public to call the hotline shown on screen with any information.
Meanwhile, police confirm Sarawak remains free of drug labs, with no sign of clandestine manufacturing operations anywhere in the state. Officials say that means supplies are sourced from outside Sarawak and not produced locally. They warn that the presence of any illegal labs would pose a serious threat and vow to make sure it never happens.
Kita bersyukur sebab di Sarawak ni masih tidak lagi kita kesan nak dirikan lokal yang boleh produce dadah. Tak ada makmal lagi. So kita sangat-sangat inilah bersyukurlah, kita harap benda tu kekal. Kita boleh pastikan Sarawak nak dapat bekalan dadah bukan dari Sarawak, dalam Sarawak. Itu pun satu kejayaan juga bagi kita lah. Kalau wujud satu hari ini dadah boleh dihasilkan dalam Sarawak, itu satu masalah besar. Setakat ni
Russian missiles and drones slammed into apartment blocks in the Ukrainian capital Kiev, killing at least 14, including 3 children. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky calls it proof Moscow isn't interested in peace. Despite U.S. President Donald Trump pressing for a ceasefire, Russia continues to hammer Ukrainian cities with airstrikes more than 2 years into its full-scale invasion.
The attack blasted a 5-story crater in one apartment block, ripping the building in two. Rescuers were seen carrying victims in body bags as they sifted through the smoldering rubble. Officials warned that several people were believed to be still trapped under the collapsed building. Ukraine's Air Force said Moscow fired 629 drones and missiles, one of the largest of any overnight barrage. The overnight barrage also hit the European Union mission's building.
It shows that the Kremlin will stop at nothing to terrorize Ukraine, blindly killing civilians, men, women and children, and even targeting the European Union. This is why we are keeping maximum pressure on Russia. That means tightening our sanctions regime.
The strikes come just a day after the Kremlin dismissed the idea of a quick summit between President Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Kiev insists a face-to-face is key to breaking the deadlock, but Moscow is demanding more land and an end to Western military aid, terms Ukraine flatly rejects.
In national news, SEGAMAT was once again hit by a minor earthquake tonight, marking the 3rd incident in the area within a few days. Met Malaysia reported the 2.5 magnitude earthquake occurred at 7:56 p.m., with the epicenter detected about 13 kilometers north of SEGAMAT, Johor, at a depth of 10 kilometers.
Met Malaysia also urged members of the public who experienced the tremors to fill in a survey form to help the authorities obtain detailed data on the incident via the link shown on screen. In recent days, 2 minor earthquakes were also reported in the district, raising concerns among residents, although no damage has been reported so far. Yesterday, Met Malaysia confirmed a 3.2 magnitude minor earthquake occurred in SEGAMAT at 8:59 a.m., with tremors felt in several parts of Johor and southern Pahang. On August 24th, Met Malaysia confirmed 2 minor earthquakes, one measuring 4.1 in SEGAMAT at 6:13 a.m. and another of 2.8 magnitude in Yongpeng, 28 kilometers northwest of Kluang at 9 a.m. Meanwhile, in a separate statement, SEGAMAT District Officer Muhammad Ezzuddin Sanusi said no reports of property damage, injuries or fatalities had been received so far following the 2.5 magnitude quake. And based on initial reports, the tremor was felt by residents in SEGAMAT and nearby areas.
Meanwhile, the federal government gave assurance that the reviewed SST rates implemented on July 1st will not burden those in the middle and low-income group. Deputy Minister of Finance Lim Hui Ying says preliminary research on its impact to cost of living is low and under control as the tax is implemented in a targeted manner.
Ini kerana pengenaan cukai telah dibuat secara bersasar melalui pengecualian cukai jualan ke atas barangan keperluan asas meliputi makanan ruji, ubat-ubatan, buku serta mesin atau jentera untuk sektor pertanian dan penternakan. Kenaikan kadar cukai jualan kepada 5% atau 10% hanya melibatkan barangan pilihan dan bukan keperluan asas.
Moreover, SST is not imposed on basic services, including basic banking, residential construction, and home rentals. It only applies to selected commercial services used by higher income groups. These include private school fees exceeding 60,000 ringgit a year, as well as healthcare and higher education services for non-citizens.
And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Razi Ahmad. Thank you for watching.